The virus known as mad cow disease has evolved into mad zombie disease, meaning that the whole planet is now going through a zombie apocalypse. There are no military or governments left, only survivors who try their best to find safe spots. The virus makes zombies extremely violent, hungry, and therefore dangerous. It's not advised to grow attached to other survivors since everyone is out to get you or will end up becoming zombies as well, resulting in some people using their city of origin as nicknames. Columbus explains he's decided on a few rules to survive the apocalypse after seeing people fail over and over again. The first one is cardio because to be in shape is needed to run away from zombies. The second one is the double tap, which means making extra sure the zombie is actually dead after hitting it because they often retaliate. The third one is being careful in the bathroom because the zombies have gotten smarter and know they can get vulnerable people there. The fourth rule is to fasten the seatbelt since car accidents are more common now. 2 months after the initial outbreak, Columbus is at a gas station in Texas. He tries using the bathroom but sees a bloody fingerprint on the door and steps back right before a zombie bursts out. Columbus immediately runs away and the noise attracts a second zombie that joins the chase. All the cardio training makes Columbus fast and he reaches his car only to drop the keys, so he does another lap around the parking lot to keep the zombies at a distance. Then he finally gets in his car. After fastening the seatbelt he drives away, only for a zombie to appear in the backseat. The zombie tries to bite Columbus, who struggles to stop the zombie and causes the car to crash against a building. This sends the zombie flying through the windshield, and Columbus is happy for his seatbelt. Unfortunately the zombie is still not dead, so Columbus shoots it through the window and comes out of the car for a second shot to follow the double tap. As he sits down to rest, Columbus defecates in his pants because of his irritable bowel syndrome. The next day, Columbus continues his trip on foot and shares another rule: travel light. He's going to Ohio hoping to find his shut-in parents still alive. At that moment he sees a strange black truck coming. It has white threes painted on it and a cowcatcher on its front. Columbus moves out of the way before the truck stops and the driver Tallahassee comes out. Both men stare at each other with their weapons out until Columbus asks for a ride with a gesture, and Tallahassee allows him in his truck. As he gets in, Columbus checks the backseat because he's added that to his rules after last night. He also tries to chit-chat and learn more about Tallahassee, who says he doesn't do friendship. A brief flashback shows Tallahassee attacking zombies with chainsaws, so he should be a good companion to have. However, he also has an obsession: to find a snack called Twinkie. After a few hours of traveling, they find a crashed company truck and Tallahassee wants to check it out. Following his rules, Columbus limbers up before following him in case of an attack. They open the truck and lots of snacks come out but no Twinkies, which makes Tallahassee furious. Afterward they look for a restroom and Columbus checks every stall before doing his business. He admits he has lots of phobias, including clowns. In fact he sees one climbing under the door, but it's just a trick of his imagination. Then he remembers how it all started. Before the outbreak, Columbus spent all his time in his room eating fast food and playing World of Warcraft. One evening, he heard desperate knocking on his door and opened it to discover his neighbor 406. She rushed inside as she explained that a sick-looking homeless man bit her when she was walking home and now she was too scared to be alone in her apartment. Columbus allowed her to spend the night and they fell asleep on the couch. Later Columbus woke up to discover 406 became a zombie. She started chasing him around the apartment and Columbus hid in his room, closing the door only to hurt her leg in the process. This didn't stop 406, who pushed her way in and followed him to the bathroom. Columbus tried trapping 406 with the shower curtain but she just pierced through it with her tongue. Next he threw a bunch of stuff at her and hit her with the toilet cover before running off. 406 went after him again, so Columbus had no choice but to hit her hard enough to actually kill her, which inspired the double tap. In the present, the duo has to move a bunch of cars out of the way so they can keep traveling. They talk about various subjects and when Tallahassee brings up intimacy, Columbus makes up a story not to look like a loser but he actually was never with a woman. In the middle of the road, they find a zombie feeding on a body, but Tallahassee just drives around them and hits the zombie with the car door on the way. Sometime later they make it to a supermarket and Tallahassee arms himself with all the weapons he keeps in the truck. They enter the store and Tallahassee plays the banjo to lure the zombies out. Two creatures soon appear and Tallahassee beats one up with the banjo while the other one is victim of his bat. A third one is waiting at the back and Tallahassee takes out his frustration with garden shears. Then they go looking for Twinkies only to come across Wichita who begs for help. The duo follows her after Columbus respects another rule: always leave a door open. Wichita takes them to see her sister Little Rock, who has been bitten by a zombie. Tallahassee agrees to shoot her but before he can act, Wichita asks for the gun saying it's a responsibility. Suddenly both girls turn around and point the gun at them. It turns out this was all a trick to get their weapons in their car. The sisters leave in the guy's vehicle and now they have to keep on going on foot. As they walk through the town, they find another car only for Tallahassee to start destroying it out of frustration. Moments later they find a better vehicle and they have to remove a pair of zombie arms from the wheel. Then they check the back seat and finds a bag full of weapons. Tallahassee shoots one to celebrate before painting a 3 on the door and finally leaving. During the trip, Tallahassee finally shares a little about himself and explains that before the outbreak the most important thing in his life was his dog, who was killed by the zombies. Now he's looking for a new home and says they must enjoy the little things, which Columbus adds to his rules. A few hours later, they find their previous car abandoned on the road with the word help on the door. Tallahassee goes to investigate but finds nothing, so he goes back to Columbus only to discover Little Rock is hiding in the backseat. She fires a warning shot to disarm Tallahassee and makes Columbus honk the horn so Wichita joins them. At least this time they keep the guys in the car and the group leaves together. A flashback reveals that the sisters have been scamming people since before the outbreak. Wichita would pretend to have lost an important ring in front of awkward losers and showed off her body to distract them. Then she would promise the guys that she would pay $3,000 to whoever found it. After Wichita left, Little Rock would find the ring and the guys would buy it for them for hundreds of bucks, thinking they would get even more money for it later. The sisters had a whole bag of rings that only cost $30 and pulled this trick at every opportunity. In the present, Little Rock gets distracted and Tallahassee gets his gun back, so Wichita stops the car and points her gun at him. Columbus finally snaps and convinces them that cooperating is the best way to survive. During the trip, Little Rock explains they're going to Pacific Playland, an amusement park that supposedly is zombie-free. It's clear that Columbus is crushing on Wichita, but she's rather cold and tells him Ohio is a ghost land with no survivors, not knowing this means Columbus' parents are dead. Feeling bad for dropping the bomb like that, Wichita agrees to give him a ride until he finds his own vehicle. Later that night, after the others have fallen asleep, Columbus and Wichita chat and bond. When they find a truck for Columbus, he accepts the fact he has no family left and decides to stay with Wichita instead. In the middle of the night, they stop at a store for food. Columbus wants to impress Wichita, but he has a rule that says don't be a hero, so Tallahassee goes first. He rings a bell and a zombie comes out, which immediately gets shot down. Tallahassee calls it Zombie Kill of the Week, but Columbus thinks that title goes to a nun that killed a zombie by throwing a piano on it. Once inside, Columbus puts on cologne to impress Wichita and Tallahassee mocks him for it, so Columbus puts perfume on him too. Tallahassee answers by hitting him, and Columbus accidentally breaks a decoration in the process. Then Tallahassee tells him to break more and soon the entire group is breaking all the merchandise in the store just for fun. Afterward the group returns to the road and chats about dozens of silly topics, allowing them to become friends. Eventually they make it to California and they agree they need a place to rest. They stop the car so they can grab a Hollywood map, shooting a few zombies in the process. Moments later they break into Bill Murray's mansion, which makes Wichita excited because she's a big fan. However, Little Rock doesn't know who he is. Tallahassee is disappointed to find no Twinkies, but Columbus is delighted to find a private theater and makes Little Rock watch Ghostbusters with him. He uses the chance to try to learn more about Wichita's preferences, but Little Rock isn't helpful. Meanwhile, Tallahassee and Wichita are startled by the appearance of a zombified Bill Murray. Wichita hits him with a golf club and Bill screams in pain normally, revealing he's fine and just wearing zombie makeup to avoid getting attacked by the monsters. Tallahassee and Wichita show how big fans they are and Bill gets his ego stroked, then he shares some Mary Jane with his new friends. They take so much that they end up taking movie props and pretend they are the Ghostbusters. Next they decide to prank the others. Bill enters the theater making zombies noises, so a startled Columbus shoots him. By the time he learns the truth it's too late and Bill Murray dies on a seat after saying his only regret is Garfield. The group wraps him up in some blankets and shoot their guns in Bill's honor before throwing the body off the balcony. That night they have dinner and play board games by the fireplace. They remember their old lives and Tallahassee reveals he didn't used to have a dog, he actually had a son. He cries and uses money as a handkerchief. Moments later Tallahassee fires at random objects for fun and teaches Little Rock to be a better shooter. Meanwhile, Wichita and Columbus share stories from their teen years while drinking and Columbus admits he didn't have a prom date. Wichita makes up for it by inviting him to dance and the duo gets really close. They are about to kiss but they're interrupted by Tallahassee, who kills the moment. An awkward Wichita admits she likes Columbus but she doesn't want a relationship because her attention is on her sister and surviving, not on attachments. The next morning the guys discover the sisters have left in their car because Wichita became scared of the relationship she was forming with them. Thankfully Bill Murray has tons of vehicles and Columbus decides to go after her. Tallahassee refuses to come along since obviously the sisters don't want them around, so Columbus tries to leave on a bike alone. However, he doesn't know how to drive a bike and immediately falls. Taking pity on him, Tallahassee offers to give him a ride. In the meantime, the sisters make it to Pacific Playland, which is completely empty. They turn on the power and start having fun with the rides, however the lights and the noises get the attention of the zombies in town. Soon the creatures enter the park and start chasing the sisters, who try to shoot as many zombies as possible while running away. They manage to get in the car, only for the zombies to break the windows and reach inside to try to grab them. Wichita speeds up the vehicle and once they leave most of the horde behind, the sisters jump off the car and let it go on until it falls in the water with a bunch of monsters. Next they run to a ride called Blast Off, which makes them go up and down as they keep shooting at the zombies. Whenever the seats go down, The zombies keep trying to climb and grab their legs, so the sisters must continue to shoot until they run out of ammo. Now they have to kick the zombies off and the ride will end soon. At that moment the guys arrive and open fire on the zombies at the entrance, running over them as double tap. Columbus sees the car in the water and thinks the sisters are dead, but fortunately they can see them from the ride and scream to ask for help. Tallahassee tells Columbus to go after his girl while he runs honking a horn to get all the zombies' attention. As the creatures surround him, Tallahassee shoots at them while hanging from a ride and even gets on the roller coaster to continue the fight. Then he enters a game booth, locking it up before shooting at all the zombies desperately trying to get in. He's brought so many weapons that eventually he brings down every single one of them with great skill. Meanwhile Columbus shoots at the zombies too and enters the haunted house, where he's jumped on by a zombie that immediately gets killed. Then he runs toward the blast off, letting another swinging ride hit the zombies following him. There's a zombie clown waiting for him, so Columbus confronts his phobia and breaks the hero rule just for Wichita. He grabs a hammer from a game and hits the clown to make him fall, then he smashes his head to kill him. There's one more creature on the blast off, but when Columbus activates it to save the sisters, the zombie falls and dies. The group reunites and Wichita tells Columbus her real name before they share a kiss. Afterward they enter the store and Tallahassee begins breaking things to find the Twinkies. Suddenly the guys hear a noise and shoot at the storage door, only to discover it was a rat. When they take a closer look, Tallahassee is devastated to notice the box of Twinkies has been destroyed by their bullets. At that moment they see the sisters leaving in the car, but it's a prank. They stop the vehicle and throw a Twinkie at Tallahassee before they leave together, driving over a zombie on their way out. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.